Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. I have this little cat. With one side, he says welcome, and another side, he or she can say thank you. This is actually a little gift from Amir. Wow, many, many, many years ago. I took care of his cat and needed to bring her here, one of his cats, in this room because I had my own cats. Anyhow, this was before we really had cell phones, early 2000s, 2003. And he was in Singapore, and his cat actually had some health issues. So I had to make some command decisions in taking care of her. And anyhow, that's the gift he brought. And I just love this. I love this little kitty who is a welcome sign at our house. So thank you, Amir, again, after all these years. So we're here through Sun and Moon Yoga Studios portal, and the first piece is just arriving. The first piece is arriving. So we're here for a meditation, stillness, quiet, yin practice, micro movement. And we'll be standing a little bit near the beginning. You'll also need just whatever you need to sit really comfortably. So I have a folded blanket I sit on. I have a cushion for my knee. I've got a comfortable temperature. I've got a shawl nearby in case I get a little cool. I've got water to sip. Maybe an uninterrupted space. Some of the ancient yogic texts had some funny descriptions to have a clean space. So when baby spaces that we were in had mud floors, free of flies. That's always good, free of flies. So please do check our website, whether you're joining us locally or remotely. We have so many offerings, and over and over, one of my currents in my stream is the power of community. In the last 4 going on 5 years now, my family needs have taken me more away from a lot of the more deep and regular interaction that I've had with Sun and Moon, but it's been a family for me since 1997. So many people who join us, new to us, that come to our spaces, are struck in a very complimentary way. They express how powerful this community is, and you can even feel it when you come into our physical space in Arlington. I think, and I learned this, I didn't quite understand it, but it was Deepak Chopra talking about it that tipped me over the edge of understanding that spaces like churches, temples, certain places in nature that have been visited and spaces that have been held for certain purposes, intention, and in our case, it's for this truth, for freedom, for exploration, for permission to be authentic. Those have been some of the values that are held in these spaces, and now on our electronic connections as well. And I think they're palpable. I think that intention over time is palpable. Not to mention, there are also energetic places on the planet. You might have places that are favorite to you, that you really feel good in them, places on the planet, or maybe just in your own home. So there's sort of a feng shui, or there's energy. There's energy around that. All right, so that's a long beginning. I'm going to read something, talk a little about my themes. And we'll do a movement practice from Donna Eden's energy medicine, and we'll slide right into being still together. It's around a half hour. I'm grateful to whoever left on our free cycle shelf at the Arlington studio this book, Aimless Love. I know that poem, and there's other poems in there. I'm going to read you another poem from this book, Billy Collin's collection of poetry. So, and the name of the poem is Fool Me Good. So meeting ourselves, meeting others where we are is a big step. Big step we can take to really meet each other fully and freshly. Sounds simple, but there's a lot of baggage that we carry. So this morning, early morning, I woke several times. Cat woke me. I woke from just what I was feeling, some distress in my shoulders, and my head. And when I came to my bathroom ritual to brush my teeth, clean up, I decided to do Donna Eden's 3 thumps and her, I'm forgetting. Anyhow, join me for this. We're going to stand. These 3 thumps are something really good to know when you need to sort of reset your energy. You could do the first 3 thumps sitting down if you like. I'm going to do them from standing. So 3 thumps. So the first one has to do with the kidney meridian, the end of the kidney meridian, and the 2 points are underneath the collarbones, so sort of little indentations under the collarbones. I have 2. I'm not actually sure. It's close enough. There could be some that are closer into the breastbone or a little wider. I'm going to go for the little wider today. And you can just use your fingertips to deeply massage. You can touch lightly if you like, but my body's liking the pressure. I can actually feel the sensitivity there now. It's a little tender, especially on my right side. And you can also thump. You can make a beak with your fingers and thump and breathe while you're doing this. Breathe. Donna Eden suggests to do this for about a minute. She is an energy medicine practitioner who found ways to help herself and her family that just helped with things that Western medicine didn't help with. Sometimes some of these systemic and especially autoimmune things we've got going on require a more holistic approach. Not that the Western medicine cannot help us. A combined approach is wise. All right, just pause a moment before we go to the second thump. I think she calls this the Me Tarzan. That's the first one. As you do that, then Jane, I don't know why, your next one is in the middle of the breastbone, the sternum, the bone in the front of the chest, about in the middle, and you can feel around. For a good place to find is the tender spot. The tender spot is usually the one that's stuff is stuck there. There's gridlock, so you may like to touch there. And currently, I'm just massaging there with my index finger, in a circular motion. You can also do the thumping. I'm liking the massaging, and again, the amount of pressure that you apply is up to you. Breathing. I'm going to take my circle in the opposite direction now. I'm going to thump a little. And let it go. So maybe you're not feeling out of sorts physically today, and that's fine. These can just help tune you up a little bit. There's Max, the cat. The third one is finding a neurolymphatic point. So it's an intersection of our nervous system and our lymph system of this along the spleen meridians. So 3 things come together. And in this one, it's sort of the lower, either side, the lower rib cage, I often don't find a tender spot. Oh, there's one, little bit lower. Sometimes I'll go up closer to the armpits. I'm not sure if that's kosher along with what she means, but it's where I find some tender spots. And there are sort of certainly lymph nodes in this area. You can even just brush out from under the armpits, and I'm going to rub with my fingertips and thumb. Oh, Tami, candle is hot. Get away from that. There you go. And maybe anywhere along here you can sweep and brush or tap or go opposite sides. Crossing over is helpful for our nervous system, just to keep integrated, the two sides of the brain integrated. Next, talking to the birds and squirrels. Whew, then let it go. Make a loud sigh if that feels right. And then there's the cross crawl. This is this I've kind of forgotten. This would have been a good tool for me to remember the last couple of weeks. I've sometimes just felt like my brain is fried, like that it's been unplugged. I can't think anymore. So this helps, again, to kind of energize neurological channels and integrate the two sides of the brain. So it's a reaching with one arm, and the opposite knee comes up from standing. Another way you can do this is just tapping across. And if you found, Tommy's wondering what I'm doing, if you found that what happened was you went same side, it's a good indicator that, if your instinct was to do that, it's a good indicator that you're a little too homolateral, just on one side. So then what you can do is force yourself to the crossways, to the opposite arm and leg, and then go back to the same side. You can do this whether you were homolateral or unilateral or not for a little while, and then back to opposites. Breathing. And you can pound your feet hard if you like. Probably hit some good points. Tommy, what am I doing? What am I doing? It's a little scary. All right. And just stand or sit. From this you need it to be standing. Yeah, I guess you could do it sitting as well in a chair. Absolutely. And so notice, I didn't have us pause for a moment to do a baseline, but you probably notice, you'll know, your mind will know, if your nervous system will know if you feel different now. Chances are we feel different moment to moment, even when we don't do anything, because things are just changing, but likely that you felt a bit different. All right, so find a place to sit comfortably. Maybe it's a favorite chair. That's Tommy climbing the ladder, knocking the hedgehog off the ladder. Place to sit comfortably. And again, arrive. I guess we did arrive in the very beginning. Arrive again at this new positioning. You can absolutely be lying down. And we won't slide to the complete stillness just yet, but make yourself cozy, make yourself at home, at your own, wherever you are. What is it to arrive, to really meet yourself right here? And so often as we, wherever we are, there's so many streams of memory of our conditioning coming in addition to whatever's newly, freshly coming up around us. So I discovered, one of my favorite podcasts is Tami Simon's Sounds True, which has been a publishing company for quite a while. And she shares interviews about an hour long with some of the people who publish through them. And this one is an interview posted again recently, and we're in, what are we, December 11th, 2022. Interview with Dr. Christian Conte, who is works with anger management, and he says emotional management. He works with athletes, with prisoners. He works with people who have done very violent things. His work, he's new to me, it really dovetails with some of the Marshall Rosenberg's work that I'm marinating in, the nonviolent communication, and in just how we can better communicate and heal conflict within ourselves and with the ones in our world, the loved ones, friends, family, everyone we come in contact with. And I highly recommend listening to it. He breaks down his method into 3 steps. 1, listen. 2, validate. And 3, explore options. And to really come and listen, this is something that is part of our practice here, right? Even listening to myself this morning when I was feeling the physical discomfort, and then when I woke up and went in the bathroom, I could have done better, and no judgment really here, but just observation and stepping to that step 3, exploring options. Next time, and remind myself, next time I feel pain, can I first spend just a little time really seeing, like as if I could ask that pain, what are you really? And because we give a quick shorthand, and that's valuable in a lot of our life, but when we really want to come down to knowing more and knowing something that's got historic layers, very helpful to linger with it a little bit longer. Let it come to trust you. Let it have time to realize that it's free to express itself. It's kind of a funny way to talk about something within ourselves, but there is that sort of duality, right? That witnesser of what our experiencing is. So, for example, if I was to model that even right now, and what's been going on for a few hours is some pain in my sinus, but pain is such a general word. It's like as if a letter was to be delivered to me, but it was only labeled Arlington, whereas it's a town I live in. So it wouldn't have the street address. So pain, very general. Now, if I listen, and maybe you have something you can listen in, it doesn't have to be physical, it can be something else. Just sit with it. Say it's a little scratchy. It's a little scratchy. Scratchy. It's scratchy sinus. It's like irritated. That feels there's something, and when you hit on the address, the exact address, street and house number address or apartment number, there's a ding, a bell that rings, right? Yay, you can feel it. You can feel it with your whole body. And so now we could even just go further with this, like validate. This is step 2 of Dr. Conte's healing conflict. Validate. So I would just sort of reflect to my painful nostril. So you're feeling irritated, scratchy. Because pausing here, the usual tendency is to jump to fixing it or solving if something's amiss. or if something's wonderful, to hold on to it, to hold on to it. So if I can linger with kind of just that part of my witnessing mind, recognizing, giving a moment, a few moments, or maybe just a few seconds of, I see how you're feeling. And possibly what you might notice in this process, what I did notice was exploring options. That step 3 was coming in already. So now that I know there's a scratchiness, I was thinking that I was just having a dryness, but maybe there's an irritation is something that helps me. I have an idea for what might be going on with me, a little bit of an allergen. A model, it's maybe a simplified model, but this is what happens to us in relation to something, into life, to those around us so often, and especially with those that we have long-term patterns with. They walk into a room, we have a reaction, and again, these can be positive things or negative things. The negative things are especially where we could practice with the positive ones. It's sort of like, just hold it for a moment, just bring that pause. And this is where we relate so much to the next practice coming up, the stillness, the ability to just stay, sit. And I'm pretty sure, as I'm also marinating slowly in dog training things, back to that theme a while ago, that that's one of the key things to be able to train your dog at any threshold, at many thresholds, to be able to sit and stay, or to come back to that, come to this spot to sit and stay. Right, Rock? So we're training ourselves in that, to be able to have the self-discipline to land there when we need to find that right address. Okay, so as we move into our stillness, and those are all principles from Christian Conte's work with healing conflict. So once again, as we transition from just listening to some of those ideas to enter our body and truly feel for this next 7 minutes or so of stillness, where are we? Locate yourself. Locate yourself. Tweak any positioning. Get the support you need. Place your hands how you choose, perhaps in a gesture mudra. Sense that breathing is happening. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it's helpful to set it up so that we can stay for this duration, no matter what winds of mind, body, heart come. And we'll begin. I'll read this poem, and then I'll be mostly silent, maybe just dropping a droplet of guidance here and there to help us come back to stay. Fool me good. I am under the covers, waiting for the heat to come up with a gurgle and a hiss, and the banging of the water hammer that will frighten the cold out of the room. I'm listening to a blues singer named Precious Bryant singing a song called Fool Me Good. If you don't love me, baby, she sings, would you please try to fool me good? I am also stroking the dog's head and writing down these words, which means that I am calmly flying in the face of the Buddhist advice to do only one thing at a time. Just pour the tea. Just look into the eye of the flower. Just sing the song. One thing at a time. And you will achieve serenity, which is what I would love to do as the fan blades of the morning begin to turn. If you don't love me, baby, she sings as a day moon fades in the window and the hands circle the clock. Would you please try to fool me good? Yes, precious, I reply. I will fool you as good as I can. But first, I have to learn to listen to you with my whole heart. And not until you have finished will I put on my slippers, squeeze out some toothpaste, and make a big foamy face in the mirror, freshly dedicated to doing one thing at a time. One note at a time for you, darling. One tooth at a time for me. Just here. Breathing. With the many, many infinite things from the past and arising now. And really, there's just one, and both are true. Couple more minutes. Stillness. And when you falter with a jump of the mind or a movement of the body, it's no problem. Doesn't need to be punished or judged. Just a remembering of what you want. At a sister yoga studio called Health Advantage Yoga Studio. I think it still might be there in Herndon, down the road from us in Arlington. There was a sign there said, "Discipline is remembering what you want." That speaks to me. So thank you so much for joining as always and supporting my practice by being here, supporting our community by participating however you do or showing up here. And yeah, we can the listen, just to wrap up and mention that the listening, I learned something listening to this interview with Christian Conte, that one of the ways I believe that I'm listening well or giving feedback well or validating is that I'll share something from my own experience that seems similar. And I often have thought that that's helpful. Maybe it can be, but I've noticed it hasn't been helpful. And in noticing that and staying with, the fresh responses that are happening, I'm beginning to learn, for me, underneath there might be an intention of, I want to help you, I want to fix you. And really, what I'm learning, what I'm getting from this is I can't really do anything for anyone else's emotions or pain, but I can hold the space. Well, there may be, like, give them an aspirin. There may be some practical things, but anyhow, maybe take a listen to that and listen to how you listen to what happens on your attempts to help or validate or be with what's happening in the interaction, and how you give yourself time to explore options. Thank you. Be well.